It's so scary in the moment to say no, but as soon as you do, it like literally does liberate you. It sets a whole new field and parameter of what's available to you.
So the saying no is huge. And also, I don't want this. I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be with this.
Right. You are so right about that.
You know, the more you say that, the more it's going to keep on bringing it to you.
Yeah. So welcome to Legendary with Lexyrose. Wherever you are, I invite you to take a really deep breath in, calling back all your energy from everyone and everything. And exhale out, just let everything and anything in the way of your truth go. So today I'm really excited to have Heather on this podcast with me. Thank you so much, Heather, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So as I mentioned, well, actually, I don't even know if I mentioned this in the beginning, but I came across Heather on Instagram and instantly I was like, oh, I need to connect with this woman. This woman is miraculous and magical and incredible. And then I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole because I do that when I find someone that I'm inspired by. And I began to learn all of these things about you. And I think that your story is very compelling. It's very inspiring. And you, like me, you were in fashion, right?
I was, yes.
Can you share a little bit about how you've gotten to where you are today and your story along the way?
Yeah. Well, maybe I should start with, what I thought was my path with fashion. I was always drawn to fashion. And actually, I was just telling someone yesterday, I kind of got into it as a need because we didn't have the money for the things that I wanted. So like in fourth grade, I started making, if anyone's old enough for this, the Punky Brewster jeans. So it was like patches and a band and stuff like that. And I think that, probably stores were selling it or something. And I was like, well, since I can't buy it, I'm just going to make it. So that was like how I started.
You learned how to sew, or did you already know how?
I think my mom might have taught me like hand stitching. So I like hand stitched. I didn't have a machine back then. But that was like my first, step into fashion in fourth grade. And yeah, I just always loved to make things. And then by 18, I was selling actually patchwork jeans to one of like I don't know if I could call it cool because it's like Palm Beach and it's like Lily Pulitzer.
What was it? I used to go to Palm Beach. Are you from Palm Beach?
Ciarico? Yeah.
I used to go to Ciarico. Oh my goodness. We used to go to Palm Beach twice a year. So you're from Palm Beach.
I moved to Palm Beach in high school and I went to Cardinal Newman and I lived there from 14 to 27 basically, except for when I went to school in Boston for a little bit.
So you sold at Ciarico. That's a big deal.
Yeah. So that was my first store. That is a big deal, right?
Wait, that is your store or that was?
No, that was my first store that I sold to.
That's a very big deal. Cause I remember I would like make it a point to go there. And there was another store called Eye of the Needle. I don't even know if that's still there.
I worked at Eye of the Needle. I worked there for years. I worked there like when Paris Hilton was coming there. And
what years? Were you there 2002, 2011?
Yeah,
I used to go there.
2003. Yeah.
Maybe I saw you before.
When we were like in the little via. I don't know.
Whenever we would go to Palm Beach, we'd go there. I actually bought a pair of jeans that I still have. They're in my storage. These were my mom's because I think mine are gone. They had pink, but they were denim jeans with beading, like black all around the top.
Yeah, I remember.
And how about like the fake Hermes? I used to have the fake Hermes belts.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah, we sold those. That's crazy. Yeah. So Palm Beach, that was like my whole thing. And then after Eye of the Needle, I worked at a gown salon called All Park. And we would like produce these runway shows at all sorts of luncheons and events at Mar-a-Lago. And I dressed a lot of people for the Trump wedding. I dressed Melania once. She like tried on one of my designs. And
oh my God.
It was a really fun time. And I loved it. And I went to New York Fashion Week and like sat behind Eva Longoria and like went to, did all the buying and everything with the owners. And it was a really fun time.
So tell me, during the time of fashion, when you were in it, you thought that was your path. You're like, this is it. I love it. I'm all in.
I've always loved it, and always had a little like brand on the side. I was like selling my bikinis to surf shops.
Oh yeah.
at the surf
What's your
expo.
bikini brand again?
The first brand was Heartstrung.
I
Everything
love the
had an
name.
embroidered heart on the back,
So cute. Yeah.
which
And you
ties
said your
into,
kids, didn't your
yes,
kids?
that ties into like what everything I manifested. Like my horse has a heart right here and darker brown on her. And then my first son was born with a heart on his leg. Yeah, wild.
I love that. I got a tattoo of one, but I don't. You just don't.
Yeah, that
Mine
was my
looks like
first tattoo.
I think this was mine too.
That's so
Um,
funny.
So Heartstrung, and you sold. You did all your own sales and your PR and everything. I think it was
Yeah.
It was probably.
Yeah, I did all of that. And I went to like, Surf Expo, trade shows, and Miami Swim Week. I can't even remember what it was called. But yeah, then, going to the trade shows, that was like my first taste of like what the industry really is. A couple months after I had my booth at the swim show in Miami, Victoria's Secret came out with a bikini with an embroidered heart on the butt. And yeah, and I got into like one of the biggest stores in California too, Diane's Swimwear. At the time, they had so many swimwear shops, and that was one of my first accounts out here. But yeah, then, the copying stuff, and it just, yeah, it was like my first little taste of that, and that continued throughout my design career.
Yeah, it's something
So
that so often happens.
terrible. I just wish that these companies would just reach out and be like, we're so inspired for you. We'd love to make this style and give you like 1% or something, instead of just being like, oh, that's cute, that we're just going to make it. And I mean, that's just the whole industry. So
I know.
very disheartening for
So
designers.
So what happened at that point? Like, what were you, when you saw that, when did you know that like you wanted to make a shift? And what was your first initial shift?
Yeah. So, well, my dad was a private pilot my whole life. And I got to travel around the world with him my whole life. I was born in the Virgin Islands because he was on seaplanes. That was his first job. And I just always had in the back of my mind, like, I'm going to, if I ever get out of fashion, I want to be a private flight attendant because it just seemed so fun. And he had a great life, and he's just getting points all over the place for flying and staying at hotels. And so, and I'll back up a little bit too. My dad is like a really big inspiration to me. When we lived in the Virgin Islands, he taught me yoga at age 3. There's a picture of me naked in our front yard beach. It was like a little shack on the beach doing yoga with him. And throughout my younger years, or even until I was a teenager, he was taking me to yoga retreats. So this guy, like my dad, is like a yoga teacher, retreat goer, and then this pilot for private airplanes and celebrities and things like that. So yeah, I was like, oh, I want to do that if I ever get out of fashion. And yeah, I just felt like being in that rat race for so long, I finally was like, I can't do this anymore. I need something different. And I realized that like, you don't have to be in fashion to love fashion. Like you can still love it and you can still do other things, and you don't have to like have a brand, even though I'm so inspired by designing and creating. But yeah, so after that, I became a private flight attendant for a little bit. And it was really fun. It's fun as a single person.
Yeah.
I got to fly a lot, or at really weird places all over the world, very strange stops, very quick. Yeah, maybe some shady stuff happening. But it was cool. It was really fun. There was one time that I was in New York, and I was out with a friend because I was just like on layover, and a friend of mine lived there. And probably had a little too much to drink, and I like looked at the flight. It's kind of like a call sheet.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, and it said like the passenger prince something, and I was like, and this prince wanted this certain type of water that I've never heard of, and I'm like, oh my
goodness.
goodness. I go to bed, and then I wake up and I like look at it again, and I'm like, oh, a prince. It's Prince. The thing.
It was Prince.
Yeah.
It was Prince.
It was Prince. So, and then
What did you do? Were you like,
so
oh my
I was like, oh
gosh?
my God, I have to find this water. So I found the water somehow, never seen it again. And yeah, it was just me and him.
You manifested the water, by the way.
Yeah. That's like, what is this water? I've never heard of this. So yeah, so I was on the plane, just me and him. His assistant walked him on. He had his cane. And yeah, so that's kind of like the type of stuff that I was doing. And we flew
Well, that's
him from
pretty
New York
like,
to
that's
Minnesota.
pretty legendary, I would call that. Wait, so tell me just about the essence and energy being with Prince. This is big. I didn't even know, right? Like, what was that like being in his field? Being in
Yeah, so he was very sweet, very quiet. He was writing, and we flew him from New York to Minnesota, which is where his home was. And he was just in the zone, and he only wanted espresso and, tiny little espresso cups, very small.
what happened to the water?
I don't think he drank the water.
So he,
The
sorry,
water was available. The water was available.
All right, thank God.
But yeah, an espresso cup so tiny. And I just remember him being like, can I have honey? And I gave him honey. And he just kept on being like, more honey. So it was basically like an espresso cup of honey with just a little bit of espresso.
That is so funny.
And it was a pretty quick flight. So like that was pretty much it. But it was, yeah, legendary for sure.
That is amazing to
Yeah.
cross paths with Prince at such like close quarters. Wow.
I know.
I'm not normally like starstruck, but he is really like, that's right. And also I'm just thinking now about like his connections with like Egypt and all of the things, right? The Ankh and the medicine that he brings in so many different ways, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a special being. So yeah, so that was my life for a little bit.
And then what was the turning point there? When
Totally.
were you like, I'm done with this? Not at all.
So the turning point for that was that I knew that I always wanted a family. I was like 34, 35 at the time, and, dating in LA, and then met someone who totally fell in love with so quick, and then got pregnant super quick also. And that was the turning point of everything for me.
So what did you do? You stopped. You were still working though as a flight attendant, right?
I was out of necessity. I was for a while when my firstborn was little. Yeah.
And I know that a lot of the listeners are in. Do you want to share a little bit about your story with the baby being born and how the information or what you worked through on your own and how you got into a point of like your own liberation, right? Like liberating yourself from an experience that wasn't what you thought it was.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it was the hardest experience of my life. So, got pregnant at 35 and everything moved very quickly with this guy. I was totally love bombed and just had feelings that I'd never had before. So I thought, wow, this is it. But then at 7 months pregnant, we got married. And immediately after that, something was happening, which I wasn't sure what was happening. I was totally confused. And come to find out, my new husband, was having a manic episode. And it was very intense. There was hallucinations and all of these things. And it actually happened when I was in Florida for my baby shower. And so I was just like, my bearings were all over the place. And it was a very scary time. I found out that this had been happening in his life since high school. I had no clue. He didn't give me any window to any of that information, but a friend of his from high school kind of filled me in after I was like, what is happening? My whole life was turned upside down. So, as I had met him and thought, well, this is my life. Like I really grasped onto that and I wanted to fix everything and, hold on to this life that I thought I was going to have with this man and our new baby. And so that went on for maybe a year. I don't know. The timing's a little bit like wonky, but it felt like a long time of survival.
So what did that look like for you? So you had, right, like I had this in my own way with my career, which is totally different, right? But you had an idea of something, right? Understandably, you're pregnant. you've met someone, you're engaged, or you're now married,
Yeah.
and then you see this thing happen and you're totally destabilized and you have a baby coming and your life is just about to change. And now this sense of safety that you had set up is just completely gone. So in the stage of the survival and quote unquote, trying to make things work, what did you find yourself doing? And were there moments where you were able to reflect and understand, like, this is really not, when you know something, but you keep moving anyways, trying to make it work? Is that what was going on?
Yes, totally. I wanted it to work. I thought there's got to be a way of it working. But what I realized is that the number one way of it, if it was to work, is that he would have to admit that there was a problem that needs to be fixed. Well, in my eyes, maybe he doesn't think there's a problem that needs to be fixed. But for the family, like, I couldn't be with someone that was so up and down and not able to financially take care of us. That was like one of the things that my dad was like, make sure, like, that's what he wanted for me. And my mom's a stay-at-home mom. And it's not like I'm not ever going to work, because that is a big passion of mine. I have so many creative passions.
Yes.
I've always been an entrepreneur. But to have that stability of someone to fall back onto was like a big thing. So when that all fell away, yeah, it was a big blow. And I was trying to fix it.
So when did you get to a point where you're like, okay, and I'm sure it was probably so hard, but how did you know? What was the moment that you made that decision that it couldn't continue the way it was?
Yeah, it was an ultimatum of, see someone, get on some medication, and allow us to have a more stable life. But he wouldn't even admit that he was bipolar or whatever. I mean, he's really never had a proper diagnosis, because he's never been in a place where he can stay that long for someone to diagnose him. And so that was it. It was like the ultimatum, like, you.
And how quick? Yeah.
It was, I think my son was a year. He was a year. Yeah. So it was like a year and a half of very tumultuous roller coaster life, gaslighting, me taking care of the family financially. I think I said, I was working as a flight attendant out of necessity at that point. I was leaving my 3-month-old baby with him to go work for 1 week for this woman, a very wealthy woman who'd never worked a day in her life and was very abusive. I was working like 17-hour days for her.
And away from your baby at 3 months.
Yeah, 5 days.
And the emotional of just being alone, just leaving your baby at 3 months, and then getting abused on top of it, and also having a destabilizing situation at home. I can't even imagine how did you get through it? What were you?
It was so hard. Yeah, I was just really in survival mode that whole time, and he was barely working. And so I took the responsibility of making the money. And thankfully we moved up north in California. So the bills weren't as much as LA. So me working 5 days out of the month was paying for all of our bills at that time. But it was, emotionally so draining, so demoralizing with this woman that I was flying with on her plane. Yeah, it was good money, but.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the whole thing, right? We don't like these dynamics where, I thought in fashion, especially, like, oh, I need to either take abuse or suffer or self-sacrifice in order to succeed, or in order to be accepted, or in order to whatever. And for you were definitely in this initiation point where, am I willing to self-abandon for this woman and money? And am I willing to self-abandon and deal with a situation where I'm being gaslit? And I'm sure both situations you were being gaslit in some ways, right?
Yeah. Oh, totally.
And then, I find this interesting too. I think when we have kids, and because you have quite a few now, right? Like, I think that they bring us very big. Okay, first of all, the kids are gifts. Don't get me wrong. But they really stretch our capacity to who we are and what we become and what we learn. And they bring like medicine and learnings for us. So your son came in and he was like, Mom, right? Like,
Yeah.
obviously there was a soul contract with your husband or whatever you believe, right? Like there was with your ex, but your baby is, I mean, quite a big healer, I'm sure, right? They all are, aren't they?
They all are. They all are. Yeah. They're so special. But yeah, I mean, it was a huge lesson. Like, I feel like now looking back, like I knew nothing about, I mean, I didn't even know that gaslighting was a thing. I didn't know
No.
about, mental
But
illness.
also, let's also remember too, though, like when you're being so gaslit, you think that you're wrong because of
Yeah.
how manipulative the people are around you.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
it's like you're feeling it, but then you're like, no. Because the manipulation is so intense that it's so extractive that it makes you lose your center of clarity.
Yeah, it really does. And
You were in
I felt
survival on top of that.
total survival. And I also felt embarrassed to have been going through this and like not have seen the signs. And so I didn't talk to anyone. I was just like in my, survival tunnel of like make money, take care of the baby, survive.
Do you have any, like, I'm sure there are some people that are listening that could definitely hear your words of wisdom here. What would you tell someone who's experiencing maybe something in regards to gaslighting, or maybe in a relationship that they've outgrown or feels unsafe? Like, what would you suggest, or what?
Yeah, the biggest thing for me was finding a community. Surprisingly, it was on Facebook. I found a community of bipolar spouses.
Wow.
And once I got in there and started reading, I was like, everyone's going through the same exact thing. These people that are experiencing bipolar are treating their significant others exactly the same as I was being treated. They're going through all these same motions. And I was like, oh, it's not just him. It's this disease that has overtaken them. I don't even know if you call it a disease. I mean, I think, there's different levels of consciousness. But yeah, they're labeled as bipolar or whatever the mental illness is. But I realized that I wasn't the only one. And so in that, I realized that
Did you find this community before you left or after?
I found it before I left.
Did that help you have the understanding of,
Yes.
this is real?
So that's when I learned that bipolar is a degenerative disease. So if you don't take care of it, if you don't take care of your mental health, then it will continue to get worse and worse as you get older. And so after I realized that, and after I read so many people's stories that had been in these relationships for 20 plus years, I'm like, this is not the life that I want. Like, some people stay by their spouse through thick and thin. I was like, this is not my life. I cannot live like this. And I cannot expose my son to this life either. In addition to like the gaslighting and everything, it was like, yeah, like the weight of the finances falling on me, just all of it was.
And also the emotional, like holding the weight of the whole family, right? The whole household was on your shoulders.
Yeah.
So when did you decide, okay, I'm leaving, I'm done?
Yeah. So I decided after I was like, gave the ultimatum, like, you have to do something or we're gone. And so, yeah, then that started another whole roller coaster of emotions and abuse. And, he would say he wasn't abusive, but I think it was definitely abuse, not physical.
Emotional abuse.
Emotional abuse for sure. The gaslighting was just next level. So, yeah, so that was a big turning point. During that time, I started to date a little bit to get my mind off of things.
But you had left. You left the house or no?
I left. I got my own place. I was like trying to move on with my life. The custody issue was that I got 80% and he had 20. He didn't have a place to live at the time. So on Mondays, he would have my son at my house and I would go stay with a friend just so my son would have a safe place to be. And so on the Mondays, I would like, have my time to be with friends, to go out and things like that. So I was really trying to move on with my life and get answers about like what was my future. I hired an Akashic record reader because someone had brought that up to me and I was like, oh, that sounds like something I need. And I sat down with her, and within 30 seconds of me sitting down with her, she said, you have to stop. I cannot work with you. You have a crack in your heart that needs to be addressed before I do any work with you. And I was like, oh.
That's a lot to tell someone.
Yeah. I was like,
did she help you get tools, or did she guide you to someone, or?
Yeah. She didn't guide me to someone. She guided me to a ritual that I did. And she had me write everything down that I release him of, my ex. Burn it. Smudge myself with the ashes. And then go sit in a bath. I lived in Topanga, so I had a horse bath tub that I brought outside.
You still live there or no?
We have our place there, but not there much. Brought my bathtub out, my horse trough bathtub outside. She said, fill it with salt, roses. I can't remember the potion that she had me. Yeah. And then she said, after you smudge, go sit in that bath and, replay everything that you just released and sit there for a while and then let that water out into the earth. And I sat there until the whole bath went right into the earth, like literally onto the dirt because I moved it outside.
Yeah.
And then she said, the next steps of your life are going to be the first steps that's going to be like the first steps of the rest of your life when you step out of that bathtub. And I was like, okay. So I did all of that. And then the very next day, my ex was like trying me so hard, harder than I've ever experienced. And I was just like, nope, I had this, I'm not responding anymore. I decided I'm not responding unless it's about pick up, drop off. That's it.
Boundary, go free, go you.
Just no response. And everything changed from then. I took my power back.
Yeah. The boundary thing is so important. And also just, I think it's like, maybe it's not the best question that I asked the moment that everything changed, because I think the moment that everything changed is generally a variety and like 100,000 steps that get you to the moment where everything changes. But that was the culmination of everything that you had experienced. And you just got to the point where, you know what? No, I'm done now. I'm no longer opening my heart for chaos or leaking my energy towards you or giving you power. Right?
Yeah. And my whole life was consumed by this drama. Completely. So after I decided like I'm just not responding anymore, my life completely changed.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then you must have had like ideas and understandings, okay, like trusting yourself more too, right? Because but when you're being gaslit so much, it's very hard to trust yourself in those moments.
Yeah.
Right?
So much. Yeah. I mean, you really don't trust yourself. But then, having that community to lean on and ask questions, that Facebook community of the bipolar spouses, like that was definitely a lifesaver. It was so informational about like, if I took that information to make the decisions that moved me forward and away from all of that.
And you mentioned the custody thing. How is it? Did you go to court for that and all? Did you do all that? So those aren't easy moments. Yeah.
Yeah, it was difficult. It was very difficult. My friend served him papers. He denied that he received them. He threw them on the ground and said, I never received them. It was just all drama from start to begin. Whatever.
So after he no longer had access because you were done, you've placed your boundaries.
Yeah.
You've manifested, and I know you're very much into it because I mean, for me, it's like, okay, we're manifesting in every now moment. Like we literally are. We are always manifesting, right? But like you really did, you had this idea. Did you have this dream of like, okay, I'm going to get married again. I'm going to meet someone. And what were you doing for work too in this whole process?
Yeah. So for work now, I quit that job because something happened where I felt completely unsafe with my son being with him. So I flew back and I was like, I can't do this job anymore. I can't be away. And I had a little shop. I had a trailer. It was a mobile boutique and it was parked in Topanga for a while, and then it was in Venice. So I had my mobile boutique, and it was ethically made American brands.
Oh,
So
I love
it was
that.
really fun. We were doing like lots of events, and I also had a digital marketing agency that I started when Hendrix was born. And so that was always like a side thing. So I was creating content for other women-owned brands, websites, branding, and then social media management. So yeah, I was juggling those. So I just continued to, work on my little agency.
But at this time you were like, I want to meet someone. Yeah.
I knew I wanted to meet someone, I knew I wanted a big family my whole life. And I just knew after this incident, like that's not the end of my love story.
And how did you meet your partner? When did you meet your partner?
So I met my partner. Okay, so Topanga Canyon is like a little suburb of Los Angeles. It's right next to Malibu for anyone that doesn't know. And I had this little apartment and we would walk to this cafe called Cafe Mimosa.
Who is we? You and your son?
Me and my son, yeah, we would just like walk there all the time. And Topanga's a small town, and I met my husband probably at the beginning of like this whole single part of my life. And it was just like, oh, hi, you just say hi to everyone there. I'm blah, blah, blah. That was it. So I saw this guy around town for years, 3.5 years. We went to like some of the same birthday parties. I hired him for a couple jobs that I was doing like an Airbnb at in my house for septic because he has a septic company. And yeah, I was like doing all the manifesting work and yeah, dating lots of people and all this stuff. And then we went to another cafe with my friend and he was there and the boys are a couple years apart. They were kind of like
So
friends.
your partner has a son. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're like friends from town kind of, acquaintances. And he bought the boys a smoothie to share. And we're like, oh, that's sweet. And then we laughed. My friend's like, what's up with him? And I'm like, I don't know. He's never asked me out. And I just
But
like,
were you attracted to him or anything?
I mean, I didn't, I just thought he's unavailable. Like, I just didn't
Oh,
think
you
about
just
it.
figured like he wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's not into me, whatever,
Right. Yeah. You're living your life.
or he has a girlfriend or something. And so, yeah. So then like he invited me to his son's birthday and his ex was there. And so I thought like they're probably together. But then I invited him to my son's birthday and he brought his girlfriend. And I'm like,
Oh my
okay, so we're just like, these acquaintances from town. 3.5 years go by. And this is when I found manifesting and I started like doing manifesting work.
Yeah.
And everything. But 3.5 years go
Wait.
by and we had always been like, oh, we should have a play date, just in passing. He texts me and he's like, oh, we just got puppies. You should come over. And I was like, okay. So went over and basically realized that we wanted all the same things. We're both been single that entire time, pretty much. I mean, he had a girlfriend for some of the time, but he thought that my ex was at my house all the time because my neighbor had the same exact car. And so he just like was always
But
thinking
he
about
liked you
me.
the whole time. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah. But he always thought I was too good for him I had my ex still. So he just thought, yeah.
And both of you thought like similar things, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that so funny?
Yeah. So he was actually had an office like 3 doors down from me in Topanga. So we were like in close proximity for.
But you didn't know? You didn't know?
Nope. Mm-mm.
That is so funny.
Yeah. We also found out that we were both on like a dating app. I can't remember which one. The same exact time and never matched. And we were like that close.
That is so funny. I'm not trying to make this about me. It's your interview, but but I met my husband on 2 different apps. I did meet him on apps, but we found out later that we were friends with all the same people. I was at the same bar with him at one point. I spoke to him at one point. I was always at my grandmother's house in this like condo area and he had a house there. He carpooled with my friend in high school, one of my best friends. It's just so wild how you can cross paths with someone so many times, you know? Like soul, definitely like soulmate. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was wild. So we went over for that play date and then quickly realized like, oh, we like want the same things.
He
So
wanted another baby.
same. Yeah, everything. What I was manifesting was his, hers, and ours specifically. So I wanted a single dad that like had experienced being a father and then to grow our family together, which is what we did.
Okay, cool. Can you talk about a topic that like, so for me, well, no, yeah, a little, right? Like, so when I was, I don't know, 34, I mean, I honestly never thought I was going to have a baby, to be honest. And I can't even believe I'm saying this now, but I was such a like career person that it was just like, it was something that I think was always in the back of my mind, but it was never like front and center. You know, people are like, oh, I just knew that I wanted to be like, for me, I was like, I had so many things I wanted to do with my life. Not to say that you can't do it, like you can do it all, right? Look at you can do it all. But I know that some people, and I never let this be a thing, but like some people get on this path of like, oh, it's too late to have a baby. And like all these conversations that I just, there's no judgment in any of this that I'm sharing. I just think we have to be so mindful of like the way in which we speak to our bodies and ourselves. And you had babies at what age?
My first baby was at 36, and that's when I was married. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then this for the second, how many do you have? You have.
So I have 3 of my own and my stepson, and I had my second at 41 and my third at 43, I think, or 42 and 44. I don't know. I think it's 42. I really need to like go back and look at the math, 42, 40.
Did you ever stress out about, and I know fertility is a real thing though, like I'm not saying that it's not, but like, did you ever stress out about it? Like, did you feel pressured about the baby thing and like,
I did. Or? Yeah, I kind of did. Like, I felt like I was running out of time when I was 35. I thought that I had to have a baby like right now. And so that's kind of how I got into that situation of like jumping into things so quickly with someone that I fell in love with.
So but then towards the end, you're like, I'm having another baby. Like I'm having 2 more babies. Like what was your mindset in those stages?
I just knew that I was going to.
You felt the spirit.
I knew it was going to happen. They were not planned. Well, they were kind of planned. The first one was not planned. The second one was a little bit planned.
In terms of like timing, in terms of like, okay.
I mean, it was like, it just happened. Basically, I'm very fertile. Like it happened the first time, every time for all 3 of them.
You are, and it's also timing. You know your timing too.
Right.
Well, what information do you have or what shares do you have for anyone that is stressing about that and they're older and they feel, and not even older, like I don't even want to say that. And why do we also perceive there's nothing bad with being old, right? And it's not even old. Okay, I'm going on.
And you can get pregnant, right? Until you're in menopause. So, you know.
Great. But don't you believe, I think you do too. I try to be as intentional and aware of the way I speak to myself and my body and the thoughts that I have, right? Because I do want to have another baby. I don't want to say it too loud because my mother-in-law's here and she thinks I'm dumb. But I do want to have another baby. I can definitely feel the spirit of the baby. I'm not sure if it's a baby that like must be born here now, but I definitely feel it. I just do. But there were moments where like I would go to my doctor and he was like, well, you're getting old. So, and we have to be very mindful about what we subscribe to. People can say things to us. Yeah. I'm asking you the question, then I don't stop talking, but tell me.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't really go to doctors or anything like that. And one of the big turnoffs for me, I mean, it's been my whole life, but when I got pregnant at 35, they're like, oh, it's a geriatric pregnancy. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, why do you call it geriatric pregnancy?
It's the doctor said that to you?
Yeah. When you're 35, it's geriatric. That's what
I didn't even know they call it. Oh my God.
Yeah. So they want to do like all these tests and everything. And I just like, I'm so intuitive about my own body and I do everything natural. And it was just like a big turn off for me. So I was like, I'm not subscribing to this.
Yeah.
They wanted me to drink that drink and all the thing. It just always felt wrong to me. So, everyone obviously make your own decisions.
Right.
But that's like always just been my thing. Like I don't like to go to the doctors. I don't do any
It's
of
not
that
your
really.
thing.
Yeah. So anyway, I was like doing all the things and like, your first baby, you want to be safe. So I found actually a really great birthing center that was attached to a hospital in case
Mm.
anything were to happen and you needed to get an emergency C-section. But yeah, that was like, I'm like, no, I'm not geriatric. And no, I'm not going to go to the hospital and do all these tests and all the things. I just followed my intuition on that and so many things in life. And then later down the road, I find out like the reasoning for all of these things and like why I felt that way. And so it's validation for myself.
Yeah. And I think that's a good message for anyone who's listening and whatever path that you're on and whatever thing you're doing that if you know something, like it's so important to listen. Right. And that's another thing, like the gaslighting can be in so many different, it's in so many different shades. Do you know what I'm saying? So we always have to lean back into what we know is true, even if it might not look like the quote unquote right thing, or even if it might not be perceived as that, or even if there's a lot of pressure around us, right?
A lot of pressure.
Really
My
listen.
mom is a East Coast gal, Connecticut, And I felt like living on the East Coast, like you have to be like so in the box. And if you don't do things this way, then it's wrong. And she still has all those opinions for my kids and the way I go about healthcare, basically. But
That's a big conversation. Definitely.
yeah, but I just do what I feel is best for myself and my family.
So now in regards to, you have all these incredible projects and things going on, and I know you have a retreat upcoming. Can you share a little bit about it's called the Women's?
Yes. So I have a branch of a company called Sacred Woman Collective, and that is something that kind of just fell into my lap. We bought this ranch in 2021, and a friend of mine was starting to do retreats and women's circles and everything. And she said, "Oh, we should have a retreat at your place." And I was like, "Yeah, I would love that." And so that was 5 years ago. And we had the retreat, and I saw how women of all ages, even, in their 60s, upper 60s even, arrive and leave as different people, completely different people. And so after seeing that, I was like, I can't say no to this. Like, this is life-changing work. So I continued to host these yearly retreats with her. And then just a couple years ago, maybe halfway through, my hosting here, decided to open up my own branch. So now I do my own monthly sunset circles here and different retreats. And I kind of repeat like my favorite ones every single year.
And what happens? This is just a question. And because I do, I don't even know if it's called healing work. I'm a facilitator of sorts. The energetics in my household, sometimes the kids can really pick up on it. I do create boundaries energetically around the room that I work in. However, I think especially sensitive kids, which I'm sure you have, and I think they're all sensitive, to be quite honest. We're all sensitive. We've been trained not to be, What do you find that when you have these experiences on your property, do you find that the kids pick up on it? And do you feel that there's a difference in the home or?
Yeah, I feel that this land has been blessed beyond.
I feel that too.
Every time we have a circle, the people that come here with good intentions.
And they're called to it. They're like called.
Yeah.
Because everyone, it's like there's a co-creative experience that people have agreed to already, and they come to your place, and
there's like no bad energy.
No, I don't even mean like bad energy. That's not what I'm saying. I think sometimes, or this is just my experience. Like if I'm about to, like when I started and I was doing new courses, sometimes the energy comes in so strongly that I think sometimes my children, your children are on earth though, mine aren't, like we're in a city, I think that might be part of the difference. Mm-hmm. They can feel it, but I don't know if they know how to. And that's something that I need to also work on here. I don't know. I just feel there's a difference in the house sometimes. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's
definitely. I actually see that more when other children come into the house from other families, like my son's friends. There's like a big energy shift there. When I do the women's retreats, I actually kick the family out. I put them in a hotel.
Oh, I was going to ask. Okay, so they're not even there during this.
Yeah, so
Okay. Okay.
they're not there for the retreats unless it's the mommy and me retreat that I do with my daughter. But and then the monthly sunset circles I do not inside the house. So I do it up on the basketball
On the
court, or
property.
I do it in this room if it's an intimate group, or I do it by the horses. So we're almost always outside or in this room.
Okay, wait. That's the fact that the kids aren't there, that just makes her okay. So
Yeah.
that's to me. Okay, cool. So tell us a little bit about like what are these experiences like? I mean, I can feel that the magic of it. But tell us, like, what is that
Yeah.
about? What is that
It's
like?
it's first of all beautiful. My partner who founded Sacred Woman just has a beautiful vision, and the visuals are all cohesive, first of all. So when you walk into one of the elevated retreats, you just feel like the beauty,
You're in a world. Yes.
Yeah, I was just talking to the girl that came over yesterday about that too. It's like I have to have beauty around me. I have to have
What's your midheaven? Do you know
what is it?
your midheaven in your
No,
chart?
what's that? Midheaven?
Yeah, I don't even know what it is. I mean, I do know what it is. It's like how you express. I think it's yeah, how you put things together. Mine's in Libra, which is bizarre. This is why this room drives me absolutely crazy because I had a reading once and the woman said to me, you have, I don't know, do you know I was a stylist? Did you know I was a fashion stylist? So if you ever saw my work, it's like, it's very dreamy. It's not really how I portray myself, my own aesthetic, but it's very dreamy, very Venusian. And she's like, you have like one of your key codes is beauty. So like for me, I'm the same way. Like you wouldn't know it based on my room just because I'm in sessions and things like that. But that has to, like this room has to be done because I feel like this.
Yeah, I
The
have
Libras are very much about beauty and balance and
yeah, I have to love the space that I'm in, and yeah, and also have it kind of organized, because then I can't do work if like things are cluttered around
see,
me.
me too. I can't.
Not to say I like throw in these cabinets there's like a million toys, but
But you need
I
it
can't
to
see
look
them.
tidy. I know.
Yeah.
What sign are you?
I'm a Gemini.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gemini,
To have
Cancer, moon,
The home.
and Capricorn.
Ooh, the business, the entrepreneur, the
Yeah.
businesswoman.
Yeah.
My mom was a Libra and everything is, I'm saying was when I was little. And like, she would just throw things out all the time. I don't have anything from my childhood because everything had to look like a museum all the time.
Yeah.
Like would throw out everything. I don't have anything left from when I was a kid. But anyways, so beauty. So the first thing, so people
so the
come in
first
and they
thing is
walk
the
into this
beauty.
experience of beauty. Beauty
Yeah.
is so healing and powerful.
It's so powerful, and we're surrounded like by these untouched mountains basically surrounding us. We're looking at like right now I'm looking at like one of the steepest mountains in northern US, I think. It's like the steepness of the top of it or something. I don't know. But then we have like hundreds of acres of BLM behind us, which is the Bureau of Land Management, untouched. Like,
Oh my
natives were
goodness.
here, and I can feel that energy here. And so we're only on 5 acres, but it feels like endless.
Yeah, forever. But also all the time, all the depth of the transmission of what is available is endless, right?
Yeah,
I feel it.
Yeah, it is. It's so powerful. And so, yeah. And then one of the main things about Sacred Woman is that we are all equal. We're not judging. We're not here to fix. When we do counsel, like everyone just speaks what they want to release and no one tries to fix it. Like we're here to like absorb it, basically. Unless someone asks, like, can you help me with this? But it's a non-judgmental space for women. And we do so many modalities throughout the retreats, like somatics or sound baths. I mean, there's a little bit of everything. I even do a nude retreat, which is incredible. A mommy and me retreat. So and with that, it's healing the generational trauma.
Yeah.
Stopping it, from happening again, starting the cycle again.
And you have a retreat coming up in it's in April? Is that one?
I do. Is
that full now or can people still?
No, people can still sign up for that. It's called Girl Camp. And it's a half day retreat. It starts at 4 p.m. We will start with a grounding meditation with the horses. I've been doing a mentorship in equine therapy. And so I will lead opening circle and a grounding meditation with the horses as the backdrop. After that, we will do, I don't have it with me, but we're making these shearling bags.
Your bag. Yeah.
Yeah. Which
I
is
love
really
that
fun,
bag.
with a designer called Ida and Moon,
Cool.
who recently moved here from Colorado. And then I'm going to do a home cooked dinner because I love to host my whole life. That's what I've been doing with the flight attendant work and all of that.
I love it.
And then after that, we'll do a sound bath under the stars by the horses.
What a dream. Okay, so for people that don't have, like, can you let them know where they could stay if they're coming out from?
So throughout this 5 years of hosting the retreats, I have accumulated some bell tents. They're beautiful tents, and I have these wooden cots in them, and it's all like organic linens and shearlings and
Beautiful.
glamping. So I have space when I do the retreats for 8 people in those 4 tents. It's 2 people per tent. And now I'm launching probably next week 3 new places to stay on the property. I have this room, which is called the Remedy Room, which is a double bed. And it's a freestanding room that has like a coffee and tea bar. Now we have this new trailer. It's like a silver Airstream trailer.
I saw you post it yesterday. It looks
Yeah.
so nice.
Room for 3 people to sleep. And it's got electric and heat and the whole kitchen, a bathtub.
I love it.
So that, and then I have my old trailer that was the mobile boutique that has a single bed in it.
Okay, awesome. So if people want to come and they have a place to stay. So this
We
is,
have
when is it
room
again?
for-
What's the date? I'll put it on the show
April
notes.
11th.
Great.
It's a Saturday. Yeah, so we have room for about 14 people to sleep here. And then otherwise, I mean, it's Joshua Tree in Palm Springs. So there's so many beautiful places to stay. I have a list of like a PDF that I put together about my favorite places.
Amazing. Thank you so much. This has been so fun. Thank you for taking all the time.
Oh, of course. I love to tell people, show people that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Like when you're going through such a hard time. I mean, that was the hardest time of my life. And I did not see a light at some points.
And look what you've created.
Yeah.
Do you have any last final words of like inspiration or hope or wisdom or anything that can get someone through something that feels like there isn't light at the end?
Yeah, I think, well, one of the things I wanted to mention about manifesting was, what's the saying? Like, if you do the same thing like over and over again, then you're just going to get the same result. And that's what I was doing for so long. But when I realized that I needed to start like having boundaries, saying no to things, saying no to people that like kept on popping up in my past, ex-boyfriends, different scenarios that kept on popping up that were not okay with me. Once I put a stop to that, that's right when my husband came in, like so quickly after that. I just had to say no. Like I had to start saying no. Yeah,
because we say yes to things, and I did this so much in my life. I would say yes to people I didn't want to hang out with, or because I was scared I was going to upset them, and the more I did that, the more I self-abandoned. And then I was like, well, wait, I'm in these unfulfilling situations because I'm not being honest with myself, and I'm not even giving myself a chance.
Yeah.
It's so scary in the moment to say no, but as soon as you do, it like literally does liberate you. It sets a whole new field and parameter of what's available to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the saying no is huge. And also saying like, what did I want to say about? Oh, manifesting.
Yeah, please.
Not saying what you don't want.
Yes.
Like, I don't want this. I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be with this.
Right. You are so right about that.
The more you say that, the more it's going to keep on bringing it to you.
Because you bring your energy there.
That's where your energy is. So you switch your mindset and say, I want this, or not even I want, like I have this, like it's all in your future. So it's like here with you. So if you can embrace that of knowing that you have it or knowing that it's coming, instead of saying, I don't want this.
Is there something that you're manifesting right now? And I don't even want to say manifesting because it's like, there's no separation here, right? There's no separation. But
well,
you want to tell us?
Like January was the new year. Today's the second day of the lunar new year. But one of the big things at the top of my list was being on more podcasts this year. And this is, day 2 of the course. So that happened.
Yeah, I remember I was like walking yesterday, or I don't know, it was last week, and I was like, oh, I need to message Heather and see if she wants to be on the podcast. And then you're like, yeah, I'm manifesting being on more podcasts. Thanks for reaching out.
Right. And of course, it's like about manifesting.
I love it. What else? Tell us.
Yeah. So that is one thing that I'm manifesting more of too. And then I had this like realization that, well, I know that I want to have wellness ranches in different locations. And then I realized like, I already have a wellness ranch. This is like our test site. I'm doing all the things that I want to do at these wellness ranches. And yeah, I'm just like honing it all in here. And then when it's time for it to happen, everything will be in place. And I was kind of putting a ceiling on myself because I have a 3-year-old and 5-year-old. I was like, oh, I can't do it until like he's 10, But then I was like, no, I'm doing it. I'm already doing it. I'm putting it into place. I'm going to keep on talking about it, and everything is just going to fall into place in the right timing. Not that I can put 100% into it right now with the 3 and 5-year-old, but then as they're older, like everything will be.
Yeah. And also you will have team to help you facilitate that, right?
Yeah.
So where do you want these locations? Like, let's speak into existence because it's already happening.
Yes. Well, it's crazy because when I was in Tulum, when you had messaged me, something came up with one of my friend's guests. She's the owner of Sacred Woman. She just turned 60 and we had her birthday down there.
Oh, yeah. So
and
I act like I know. Because I'm following on Instagram. I remember everything.
I can't say too much about this one, but
that's okay.
This just ties in like the magic of life, really.
Yeah.
I have to go back a little bit. So a couple years ago, I was on a little hike in my backyard, and I remember the exact spot that I was in my backyard as I was coming back. And I was on the phone with Stacy, and she said, I just went to this location. It's called blah, blah, blah. And she started describing it. I was like, Stacy, I just dreamt about this place either like last night or in like the last couple of days. And her bringing it up brought back my memory of my very clear dream. Like I had lived there in another life or something like that.
Or the future.
Or the future. Yeah, I know. And maybe it is the future. Like I am honing in on my clairvoyant skills because that's one of the things with the horses. Like I saw them in my backyard, like visually saw them.
You had the vision. Yes. Yes.
And then months later, someone gifted me my horse. So like this dream I had about this place was very clear. Like the buildings that were on it, the trees, the landscape, everything. And so by the end of this trip to Tulum, she's like, well, we're basically going to be running this place. And I was like, okay. So we're like planning flights to this place. I still haven't even seen the pictures, right? So 2 days ago, I was like, do you have pictures? Like, has he sent you any pictures? She sends me the pictures and I started.
Same. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Same building, same everything. I was like, I can't even believe this.
Because I love that. And I love that you're tuning more into your intuitive. I don't know. I'm clairvoyant. I am immediate. It depends, right? Like it comes in claircognizant. The reason I'm saying this is because sometimes like a lot of the time I'll be sitting in session with clients and I'll see things. And then like yesterday, a client of mine's in Paris with like an insane designer, like her dream, this woman who's a rebel and all the things. And like, it's so cool to see it when you see it in the physical and you're like, right? But for you, your clairvoyant skills are it's going to keep opening and opening and opening.
Yeah. I just need to, and it's hard, right? With like a 3 and a 5-year-old because there's so much noise around you.
Right. And it's constant. You have 4 children in your house, right?
Right. Yeah. And
4 babies. And 17 animals. And yes.
Yeah. And all the businesses. But yeah, so it's
Tulum is one location. Potentially, right?
And right. So I'm like getting so much validation from like these past couple of years, right? So that one was like unplanned, but like it's definitely in my future. Yeah. And then the other locations are Joshua Tree, which is here, but like this is our private ranch. So I want something that's more public facing and
Yeah.
almost like a private club membership style, but also,
I love it.
hotel-ish. Yeah. So Joshua Tree, and we actually have land in Joshua Tree. So I don't know if that will be where the first location will be. But what I realized is that, yes, this is the testing grounds. Then Joshua Tree will be next because it's close in proximity. And then Montana or somewhere surrounding there because just love it up there so much. And Costa Rica, which we're going to in a couple weeks. My husband surfs and yeah, loves it down there too and wants to spend more time down there, like seasons. So
Can people subscribe? Do you have like a newsletter? I'm going to put your Instagram in the show notes. Do you have something that people can subscribe to for upcoming events and when your places, all these centers open up? And
yes. So Instagram is probably the best place because
so everyone's going to follow Heather and you have amazing content too. So that just helps.
Thank you. I love to create content still. And yeah, I have, besides Sacred Woman, I have Lupasa Mama, which is like plant medicine and equine medicine. I have beer burros, which is like my rescue burros that I take to weddings and corporate events and private brunches. So it's all like housed under there. So there's all different links. And I'm always talking about, the key.
Yeah. And I think you sent me all your links that I'm going to put in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, this has been so fun. I love this conversation. You're amazing.
Thank you so much. Oh, thanks.